Hi folks, this is Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer with Rudy Davis. We're standing outside the courthouse here in Pensacola, Florida, where Kent Hovind's on trial. There's a good group of us here. Many of us have been outside here all day holding signs. You can maybe hear some street preaching going on behind us. But Rudy has just come out after the morning session has taken place, and we're just going to have him give us a little bit of an update of exactly what's going on, what's happening there, Rudy.
Well, one of the first things I noticed, Coach Dave, is that when we try to open our Bible, the man came over and told us that we have to keep our Bibles closed. I wasn't the only person he told that. He told that to somebody else too.
In the courtroom?
In the courtroom. We cannot open our Bibles in the courtroom. Another thing that was striking to me is I cannot carry a piece of notepad. I can't carry anything to write on. Right? The only thing they'll let me keep is my Bible.
But it has to be closed now.
It has to be closed. Matter of fact, there's a gentleman that sat beside me that opened his Bible, and another gentleman came over and said, if you open that Bible again, I'm going to kick you out. Right? And then not only that, but I wanted to bring a notepad to be able to take notes of what was said and what's going on. I can't take notes. I will say there's also a psychological thing going on where Miss Judge Margaret Casey Rogers is asking all the questions.
The judges?
The judges.
Not the attorneys?
Not the attorneys. The judge has set herself up as, and maybe this is very common in federal court, but she's asking all of the questions, and she's asking like where you work, do you have military experience?
Of the jurors.
Of the jurors, right? She's controlling the entire courtroom from start to finish. The attorneys haven't even said anything. I don't know what time it is right now, Coach Dave.
It's 1 o'clock Central.
It's about 1 o'clock, but we haven't even selected the jurors yet. So that's still going on. They're still expecting to finish selecting the jurors. But she also read off a list of potential witnesses, a long list, and it's all the people that Kent Hovind has communicated with, and I would say the past year or so. I was on the list. I didn't even know I was going to be on the list. So I could be, it's not about me, but I'm just saying it was Miss Gia Ambrosia, my wife. There was a list of other folks as well. It's like, why do they bring them up as a potential list just because Kent Hovind was able to make a collect call? And you have to realize how corrupt the collect phone system is. Kent Hovind will call anybody, right?
Right.
So, so anyway, I thought that was fairly interesting. But the main thing that struck me is that the judge is controlling the entire aspect of this entire case. The attorneys haven't been able to say anything.
Kent Hovind is in the courtroom?
Kent Hovind is in the courtroom along with Paul J. Hansen. And they've got us maybe 30 to 40, I didn't count them all, but there are 30 to 40 potential juror members, and they're trying to select from that list, and they're going through and asking them about what they did for a living. Do they have any previous experience with the IRS, any previous experience with the government, anything that could, but the main aspect is the psychological aspect that she is the queen of the courtroom and everybody's trying to please and answer every question that she has. When in my opinion, she is a corrupt judge and should have recused herself long ago. That's what I think is going on.
So Rudy, for those who don't understand, she also was the judge in the previous case.
That's right, sir.
The Judge Hovind is in.
That's right.
Whether or not she's an honest person or whatever, just the appearance of impropriety that she's already ruled on this one time.
That's right.
Just doesn't look real good.
Yeah, she should not be the judge on the new charges. Not only that, but in the previous court transcript on page I think 9 or 12, she referred to creation science evangelism as an extensive, as Kent Hovind specifically, and get this, I want to make sure everybody gets this, she referred to Kent Hovind as the leader or organizer of an extensive criminal operation. That is in the court's transcripts. There's no dispute about that. There's also
so now she's sitting in judgment again.
Yes, exactly. And she's running every aspect of the trial. It's absolutely absurd. You can't open a Bible in the courtroom. You can't take a notepad. Why won't they let you take a notepad to take notes in the courtroom? Ask yourself why they won't do that. There's a disputed thing in the first trial about whether she said that Kent's crimes were worse than rape or Kent was worse than a rapist. And 8 people signed an affidavit that said that they heard her say that, and yet that was removed from the trial transcripts. That took 16 months for Kent Hovind to get, right? Normally it doesn't take that long for the trial transcripts to get to Kent Hovind.
Rudy, here's where we are with it, and I try to help people to understand this. We believe that what happened to Kent was injustice. We believe that.
Yes.
We believe it's water under the bridge, really.
Yeah.
And that's something maybe will be dealt with at another time. The point that we're trying to make is they've got enough of his flesh, right?
8 years.
He's been in jail
brother.
8 years.
8 years. Amen.
Eight years.
I don't believe he was guilty even for a second, but even if you believe he's guilty, he spent 8 years in prison. 8 years in prison, my God.
And at the end of the 8 years, they want to tack 20 more on.
It's like, what is going on? Right? It's like there's something going on here more than just mail fraud and contempt of court. There's something going on much bigger.
We wrestle not against flesh and blood,
brother.
Principalities and powers,
Amen.
evil spirits in high places. So Rudy, we're going to go back in after lunch.
Yes, sir.
They'll continue the jury selection. Once that's done, then we'll probably get on with the trial.
They said it could take up to 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah.
1 to 2 weeks. Listen, folks, don't miss this. He mailed a letter. That's what he's really on trial for now, is to the impact of that letter. But that was his crime, right, Rudy?
Right.
Had he hand carried the letter and delivered it, it's not a crime.
Right.
But because he sent it in the mail, it is a crime. 20 years in prison as a result of that.
They will not let him talk about the potential penalty the judge wants to apply.
So the jurors don't even know that a guilty verdict could get him 20 years in jail.
Right. The jurors don't know that it carries a potential 20-year sentence, and Kent Hovind has been refused to talk about it. So,
Rudy Davis, Rudy's all the way from.
We need to pray for Kent Hovind.
Yeah.
Amen.
I said this, folks. Let's just pray for one righteous juror. One righteous juror. That's really all we need. We know that ultimately it'll be the hand of the Lord that will deliver him. Thanks, Rudy, for that.
Thank you, Coach. Today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right.
Thanks,
God
folks.
Bless.